The 2026 ATP season is already delivering drama, upsets, and rising stars. From Brisbane to Hong Kong and the United Cup, the rankings are shifting fast. Let's count down the top 30, from number 30 all the way to the world number 1. At number 30, Frances Tiafoe moves to 1,500 after picking up points in Brisbane. But an early loss shows he's still searching for consistency as he resets for a big 2026 push. At number 29, João Fonseca holds 1,510. No tournament this week, but the teenage sensation continues to build hype with his fearless attacking style heading into the Australian Open swing. At number 28, Cameron Norrie rises to 1,538 after reaching the Brisbane round of 16, showing steady hard-court form as he rebuilds confidence early in the season. At number 27, Lerner Tien stays on 1,540 after a solid run in Brisbane before falling to Mickelson. Another sign the young American is adapting fast to top-level competition. At number 26, Arthur Rinderknecht climbs to 1,551, following a strong showing in Perth, Sydney, including a win over Koboli that boosts both ranking and belief. At number 25, Talon Griekspoor remains on 1,565 after battling in the tough Perth-Sydney group, gaining valuable match toughness against elite opposition. At number 24, Luciano Darderi sits on 1,579, using the early weeks to build rhythm ahead of the main hard-court stretch of the season. At number 23, Denis Shapovalov drops slightly to 1,650 after an early Brisbane exit, still searching for consistency but flashing his trademark shot-making. At number 22, Flavio Koboli holds 1,955 after a challenging Perth-Sydney campaign, gaining experience against higher-ranked rivals. At number 21, Tommy Paul stands on 2,000 following a surprise loss in Brisbane, but his athletic all-court game keeps him a dangerous presence going into Melbourne. At number 20, Francisco Cerundolo sits on 2,035, steady and reliable, with his heavy forehand and grinding style making him one of the tour's toughest matchups early in the season. At number 19, Jiri Lehecka rises to 2,090 after reaching the Brisbane round of 16, continuing to prove that his clean ball striking and calm under pressure translate well on hard courts. At number 18, Jakub Mensik climbs to 2,180 following a quarterfinal run in Perth, Sydney, where his fearless hitting and composure against top seeds marked him as one of the breakout names of the early season. At number 17, Karen Khachanov sits on 2,320 after a tough loss in Hong Kong, but his physical power and flat ground strokes remain a major threat on faster surfaces. At number 16, Holger Rune holds 2,580, using the opening weeks to sharpen his game, and with his intensity and shot variety, he remains one of the most dangerous young contenders on tour. At number 15, Alejandro Davidovich Fokina stays on 2,585 after an early Brisbane exit, yet his speed, creativity, and fighting spirit always make him a potential giant killer. At number 14, Andrei Rublev moves to 2,600 after a semi-final showing in Hong Kong, his relentless baseline power keeping him firmly in the top-tier conversation. At number 13, Casper Ruud reaches 2,795 after competing in Perth, Sydney. continuing to build match fitness and consistency ahead of the Australian Open. At number 12, Daniil Medvedev surges to 2,910 after lifting the Brisbane title, signaling a return to top form with his suffocating defense and tactical precision. At number 11, Jack Draper stands on 2,990. The British left-hander's powerful serve and confident early-season performances hinting at a breakthrough run in Melbourne. At number 10, Alexander Bublik jumps to 3,065 after winning the Hong Kong Open, a statement week that shows his flair and shot-making can dominate when everything clicks. At number 9, Taylor Fritz rises to 3,905 after a strong showing in Perth, Sydney, continuing to establish himself as one of the most reliable hard-court performers on tour. At number 8, Ben Shelton sits on 3,960. His booming serve and fearless attacking style making him one of the most exciting and dangerous players of the new generation. At number 7, Felix Auger-Aliassime drops to 3,990 after an early Perth-Sydney exit, but his explosive athleticism and power still signal major upside in the weeks ahead. At number 6, Alex de Minaur climbs to 4,105 after defeating Hurkacz in Perth, Sydney, thriving in home conditions and carrying momentum toward Melbourne. At number 5, Lorenzo Musetti also stands on 4,105 despite falling to Bublik in the Hong Kong final, his elegant shot-making and growing consistency keeping him among the elite. At number 4, Novak Djokovic holds 4,780. The legend carefully managing his schedule, but always looming large as the biggest threat when the stakes rise. At number 3, Alexander Zverev sits on 5,105 after a tough United Cup campaign, still one of the most powerful and complete players in the world game. At number 2, Jannik Sinner remains on 11,500, carrying the aura of a Grand Slam champion and the calm dominance of a player built for long reigns at the top. And at number 1, Carlos Alcaraz leads the world on 12,050, returning to the summit after his triumph last year and once again setting the standard with his explosive athleticism, creativity, and championship mentality. And that's it for today. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.